I recently published a video where I was testing out the off-road capability of the FJ Cruiser in its stock configuration, and it was quite impressive. But today we're going to raise the bar and we're going to see whether the stock FJ Cruiser can hang with a heavily modified Tacoma TRD Offroad. Now, you guys have seen this Tacoma on the channel several times. This is Richard's, but it's undergone a number of changes since its last appearance. It's got a larger set of tires, upgraded suspension with additional ride height, and then he's also got the rear-mounted spare tire. Number of other small changes to the vehicle as well since then. And it's come together quite nicely. Now, when it comes to off-road capability, there are a number of factors that really make a vehicle off-road capable. You've got front approach angle, which tells you how well the vehicle can go from a flat surface to a steep incline. You've got the breakover angle, which is a combination of wheelbase and ground clearance and tells you how well it can climb over things. And then you've got rear departure angle at the back, which tells you how well we can go from a steep decline to a flat surface. You've also got ground clearance, suspension articulation, and tires. Now, comparing a stock FJ Cruiser with a stock Tacoma TRD Offroad, the FJ Cruiser definitely has the advantage. Front approach angle is 34 degrees on the FJ compared with 32 on the Tacoma. Breakover angle is 27.4 compared with 21. And then rear departure angle is 30 degrees compared with 23.5 on the Tacoma. We've also got a slight advantage in terms of ground clearance with the FJ at 9.6 inches compared with 9.4 on the Tacoma. Both models are available with a four-wheel drive system, which has a 2-speed transfer case with a low range option. Likewise, you can also get both with a locking rear differential, which both of these vehicles do. And then Richard's Tacoma also has the multi-terrain select traction control system with crawl control, whereas my FJ Cruiser doesn't, but certain years of the Trail Teams edition are available with that setup. As far as the stock suspension, the FJ Cruiser's got coils in the front and rear. The Tacoma's got front coils and then leaf springs in the rear. And then as far as the actual shocks, the Tacoma's probably got the slight advantage here, being that it's the TRD Offroad. In stock form, it would have the Bilstein shock, so slightly better performance. And then you've got tires. On the FJ Cruiser, it comes stock with a set of Bridgestone Dueler tires, very similar to what we've got here. It's basically an all-season road tire. And then the TRD Offroad comes with a slightly better tire. It's a Goodyear Wrangler that's Kevlar reinforced, so it's pretty heavy duty. But as far as the actual tread pattern, very similar to what we've got on the FJ. Now, obviously, Richard's Tacoma is not a stock Tacoma, so it's going to have quite a few advantages over that stock model. Because of the upgraded suspension, he's got additional ride height, so it's got more ground clearance than what we've got on the FJ. Likewise, it's going to have improved suspension articulation, and because of that additional ride height, the front approach, breakover, and rear departure angle are going to be better than what you get with that stock model. The other thing too is tires, which are probably the most important thing when it comes to off-road capability. You can see he's got a pretty nice set of beefy, all-terrain, mud-terrain tires on here, as opposed to the road all-season tires that I've got on the FJ. So that's probably going to make a pretty significant difference, but there's only one way to really find out, and with that we're going to see if we can find some features to test out the FJ with the Tacoma. We're going to do some hill climbing. We've got a variety of hills to choose from, so we're just going to select a few options as we go and see if the FJ can keep up. Our next test is going to take us through what I'm going to call the Alley of Doom, and this is a great test for approach angle, breakover, departure angle, traction with those tires, and most importantly, suspension articulation. You can see it's pretty narrow through here. We've got some undulating ground, soft material. We're going to start up at the top, come down through this section here, go down to the bottom, come back up this same route just because it's a little different going the two different directions, and then we're going to come back down on this side here. You'll see again we've got some pretty dramatic shifts. Definitely going to get some wheels off the ground, test out that suspension travel, once again articulation, and like I said, really soft material. It is a little bit hard again on the camera to see what we've got going on here, but even just walking up this is a little tricky because it's very slippery and the ground is just constantly shifting. You can see with me just standing here even, you know, that's about hip height just within that short distance. So we've got some pretty dramatic shifts, and that continues on both sides where the ground is just constantly changing on the two sides. We've also got some pretty good lumps in the ground here. So some good opportunities to test out that suspension and that clearance. All right, for our next test, we're gonna go over some lumpy bumps, and you can see them right behind me here. Got some ground here that's pretty carved out with some pretty good bumps on either side. A number of these little roads, and you can see we've got a couple feet difference in between here, a couple little spots where you can see other vehicles have kind of spun out. So another chance for a little bit of our suspension articulation, clearance, approach, breakover, rear departure. Those are all gonna matter here as well. So we've got this one, and then over on this side, a couple more. Again, you can see we've got some pretty good divots here in the dirt. So a number of these little roads going along here. So we're just gonna take both vehicles through and test them out on a few of these sections. So there you go, that's a look at the stock FJ Cruiser against a heavily modified Tacoma Offroading. It's actually very impressive how well the FJ Cruiser did today. The Tacoma definitely has the advantage here. We saw that on a couple of those hills where the FJ was struggling a little bit more, and we had that one hill that it didn't make it to the top, but it was very impressive overall, given that it's sitting stock and on a set of road tires, how well it really did keep up with the Tacoma. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. For more Toyota videos, be sure to subscribe. In the meantime, thanks for watching.